Don't listen to her footsteps. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're stepping into PETAPETA, School of Nightmares, the Roblox horror that's turning sticky footsteps into pure panic. First, what is PETAPETA? It's a Japanese-style school hotel survival experience by Emochi_Studio. You hunt for keys and shards, hide in lockers, and outrun a crawling entity that gets faster the longer you play. Now before we dive into the game, let's uncover some truths about the legend. Many players believe PETAPETA is based on a real Japanese legend, but here's the truth. The word PETAPETA is actually Japanese onomatopoeia. It means the sound of sticky footsteps or pressing something flat. The monster itself, completely invented for the game. So the question remains, where did this terrifying tale come from? Well, the creator of PETAPETA drew inspiration from various Japanese urban legends, mixed in some classic horror movie tropes, and then sprinkled in a whole lot of imagination. But does that make PETAPETA any less scary? Absolutely not. As you step into the game, you'll find yourself in a dimly lit Japanese school. Your goal is simple: survive. But as the minutes tick by, the monster begins to stir. And let me tell you, this is no ordinary creature. She's relentless, she's quick, and she's always hungry for more victims. But don't worry, you're not defenseless. As you explore the school, you'll find keys that unlock doors and lead you to new areas. You'll also discover strange shards that when collected allow you to customize your character with special abilities. There's stun, speed, and range upgrades, each offering a unique way to outsmart the beast. The thing is, the longer you survive, the more difficult the game becomes. The monster gets faster, the hallways become more treacherous, and the tension just builds and builds until every creak of the floorboard sends shivers down your spine. It's this constant sense of dread that makes PETAPETA so terrifying. It's not just a game, it's a nightmare you're running from. You might be wondering, how do I win? Well, the secret lies in the These Japanese paper charms can be placed on the ground and used to trap the monster. All you have to do is bait her across it and seal the charm before she reaches you. Easier said than done. One wrong move and it's game over. You'll have to start all over again from the beginning. So the question is, can you handle the pressure? Can you outsmart the beast and survive the night? The only way to find out is to join the thousands of players who have dared to enter the school and face PETAPETA. I hope I've convinced you enough to try it out, because after all, this is Roblox, the place where anything can happen and nightmares come to life. Now get out there, brave soul, and show PETAPETA who's boss. But remember, don't listen to her footsteps, because if you do, well, you might just become part of the legend yourself. Alright, now that we've got the basics down, let's dive deeper into the world of PETAPETA. If you're thinking this game is all about running and hiding, well, you'd be right. But there's more to it than meets the eye. For starters, each level is procedurally generated, meaning no two playthroughs are ever the same. One minute you could be navigating a familiar hallway, and the next you could be exploring an entirely new part of the school. It's this unpredictability that keeps players on their toes and makes every game feel fresh and exciting. But it's not just the layout that keeps you guessing. The game also throws in random events that can turn the tables in an instant. One moment you could be searching for a key, and the next you could be running for your life from the monster. These events are designed to test your skills and your bravery, and they are a key part of what makes PETAPETA so addictive. Then there's the music. It's subtle, it's atmospheric, and it builds in intensity as the game progresses. Before you know it, you'll be biting your nails as you navigate the dark and silent halls. Let's talk about the monster. At first, PETAPETA appears as a small, hunched-over figure dragging herself closer and closer to you. But as you play, she grows larger, more aggressive, and more terrifying. The longer you survive, the harder she becomes, making each encounter more intense than the last. If you think you can hide forever, well, think again. Eventually, the monster will find you if you don't stop her. You'll have to use everything at your disposal, including those Ofuda charms, to stand a chance. And speaking of those Ofuda, let's take a closer look at them. These powerful charms can be placed anywhere, but be careful where you choose to set them. If the monster steps on the Ofuda, she'll be sealed away and the level will clear. But if you make a mistake, well, you'll have to start all over again. The Ofuda aren't just important for clearing levels, they're also a key part of the game's lore. Each one tells a piece of the story, and putting them all together will reveal the dark and twisted tale of PETAPETA herself. And let's not forget about the shards. These mysterious objects are scattered throughout the levels, and picking them up will grant you special abilities. You can stun the monster, giving you a few precious seconds to escape. You can increase your speed, allowing you to outrun her for a short time, Or you can extend your range, giving you a little more breathing room when you're trapped in a tight spot. The shards are an essential part of the game, and choosing the right one can mean the difference between life and death. So choose wisely, my friend. Now let's talk about the levels. Each one is filled with secrets, puzzles and challenges that will test your skills and your courage. From deciphering cryptic messages to navigating mazes, there's always something new to discover. But be careful. The higher the level, the more difficult it becomes. The puzzles are more complex, the enemies are more aggressive, and the stakes are higher than ever before. Speaking of levels, let's take a look at the map. The game is set in a haunted Japanese school, and each building is filled with its own unique challenges and secrets. Whether you're exploring classrooms, laboratories, or dormitories, you never know what you'll find around the corner. And let's not forget about the lore. PETAPETA may be a fictional character, but the game is filled with nods to real-world Japanese folklore and mythology. From the Ofuda charms to the monster's design, every detail is carefully considered and adds to the game's overall atmosphere. This brings us to the community. Since its release, PETAPETA has become a cultural icon with its own subreddit, Discord server, and even a Roblox UGC item. The fan art is incredible, the theories are wild, and the community is just amazing. And finally, let's talk about the developers. The team behind PETAPETA is incredibly talented and passionate about what they do. They're constantly updating the game, adding new features and listening to player feedback. It's clear that they care about their creation, and it shows in every aspect of the game. Now let's move on to the most controversial topic of all, the myths versus facts. Is PETAPETA based on a true story, or is it just a work of fiction? Well, the answer is both. The creator of the game was inspired by real Japanese urban legends and folklore, but PETAPETA herself is a fictional character. In fact, the word PETAPETA is Japanese onomatopoeia, meaning the sound of sticky footsteps or pressing something flat. So while there may not be a real-life equivalent of PETAPETA, there are certainly similarities to other Japanese monsters and creatures. For example, the Hanya, a demon from Japanese folklore known for its wrathful appearance and animalistic behavior. PETAPETA shares some similarities with the Hanya, such as her distorted face and bloodthirsty nature. However, the Hanya is typically depicted with horns and a more humanoid form, whereas PETAPETA is more animalistic in appearance. Another similarity can be found in the Japanese yokai known as the Nuku. This yokai is said to be a type of ghost that haunts roads and pathways, often taking the form of a headless woman. The Nukubi, like PETAPETA, preys on unsuspecting victims, but it typically targets lone travelers rather than groups of students. Both yokai also share a sense of relentless pursuit, as they will not give up on their prey until they are caught. Despite these similarities, it's important to note that PETAPETA is ultimately a work of fiction created by the game developers. While they may have drawn inspiration from Japanese folklore and urban legends, the character of PETAPETA herself and the stories surrounding her are entirely their own creation. Now it's time to share some tips and tricks. Here are a few things to keep in mind when playing PETAPETA. First, try to solo queue at the start of the game. It's easier to control and coordinate with yourself. Second, always leave one key for last. This way you can decide when to progress and when to stay put. Third, listen for the tremors and crickets. They're your cue that PETAPETA is getting close. Finally, upgrade stun first. It's your best friend when things go south. So now you know the truth behind PETAPETA. Not a real legend, but one of Roblox's scariest games. Reminder, this is a game, not a verified folklore ritual. Stay safe and play smart. Thanks for watching and for supporting our work and community. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your scariest PETAPETA moment in the comments.